morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, ladies.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us on Talk to Them. I'm your host, Kenitha Wade.
I'm your other host, Renata Mitchell.
And I'm the guest, Ted Loke, a.k.a. Published author Theodore McCauley.
All right.
Thank you. As we normally do, we'll start off with our check-in. It's been, I don't even know what kind of week it's been. It's been strange. But a lot of work stuff, I think, for me, as always. That's nothing new. Yeah, just, I don't know. Nothing special to share this week. I didn't have any kids last night, so I got to go hang out. But then I felt like I got in trouble because I didn't invite my cousin. And she felt left out. And she been needing to hang out lately, and I haven't been like really paying attention to her requests of hanging out because I just be doing my own thing. But at the same time, I feel her because she got a lot going on, and I should be attentive to her needs and hang out with her a little more. So it was more of a wake up call, but people need different things. So that's it. That's my week.
Yeah, mine's been I don't know, weird. Just overall, but a lot of work stuff too. Not a lot of personal stuff. I guess I got enough personal stuff going on, but until Friday where work stuff just got out of control and I had to clock out early. But yeah, like I don't know. I can't really, not a bunch like extra happened or didn't happen this week or whatever. So it's just been kind of chill. But what I want to do say, a reason why like a lot of people don't date in Portland is remember when I told you your cousin's cousin is my cousin? So this is one of my cousins who is your cousin's cousin.
Okay then.
Which
Her
cousin?
and Debo is first cousins.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
On the Gillespie side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. What's up. Okay. Yeah, his mama is my aunt, is my dad's big sister.
Okay.
But yeah, I know Big Steve, that's aunt. Yep, used to pull up on a motorcycle back in the day.
Yep. That's my dad's brother.
Okay. Small world.
Yes.
Portland shrinks like by the day. Well, that was it. I couldn't wait to say that on this episode. I was just waiting for it.
Okay. Then.
Like, because I could have told either one of y'all that at any other point in time, but I was like,
no. So at my job, it's a running joke because everybody, 9 out of 10 times, if a black person come through there, I either know him or I don't know him. I'm just meeting you, but end up we related or like somebody I know. And then one of our other cousins ended up, she work up there now too. And she blind like me and you, so we both walk right past each other. And I'm like, dang, this looks like my little cousin. But if I'm wrong, I don't want to be that awkward dude. Like, hey, Cuddy. And then, but she heard me talking and was like, I knew that was you over there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, all the Europeans at my job think that I'm connected to all the black people, but it's actually kind of true here in Portland, Oregon. So
yeah,
deeply rooted out here.
That's wild. But it'd be like that. It seems like almost every time you meet somebody, unless they from out of town, and sometimes if they even from out of town, you're like, oh, we cousins, okay.
Look, my homeboy from Seattle, we met in college, right? And so he get to telling me that his wife lost somebody here. They from Seattle. His wife lost a loved one here in Portland. His wife ended up being related to Corvea, my kid's mother, my wife. So they end up being related. But this is like one of my best friends. Wow. They never knew each other, but it is small like that though. Like you get to talking and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Small world.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So how was your week?
Man, my week was eventful. So I don't know, I always got a lot going on. Work is always stressful, right now I work with the unhoused people and people dealing with mental health and things like that. That's always eventful, different politics at work. But also some know, some don't. I also coach football in the fall. And so there's some politics with that I had to deal with. Some narratives being twisted. So, I had to have a long conversation with one of my colleagues, one of my coaching colleagues, and kind of straighten that out. You know what I'm saying? But and then the highlight though of my week, or the two highlights. Sometimes I know me and you, we talk about this all the time. Sometimes we have hard time finding time to be creative. Through all of that, somehow I found time to be creative this week. I met with it's an idea that I'm working on, and so I'm about to go out filming some stuff. But I got to meet with a couple of the people I'm gonna be filming with and set some things up. So got that done. Got some music done. Booked some other stuff that I can do out of town. But the main highlight though, two of my sons, Cassidy and Corday, they had a party yesterday. Their birthdays are 3 weeks apart. The weekend we were supposed to do Corday's birthday as a weekend, it snowed. So yesterday we had a big old party, all kind of kids. So you say you didn't have no kids. I had some extra kids. I got an extra cousin at the house right now who also play football for me. So, you know, it's just been a lot. Not in a bad way though, you know, just running with the kids. You know, they take a lot out of me, but just trying to make sure that they happy and they get what they want. And you know, but and they had a basketball game too. So we started the day on Saturday. We had 2 basketball games, and then after the game, we had just enough time to go home, change, go to the party, which the party is actually still going on. Like I said, it's a kid at my house right now that ain't on my taxes. So, you know what I'm saying? Party's still going on.
Right.
But, yep, that was my weekend.
Okay. So you said you found time to be creative. I know that always feels good with, like, we all creatives in here. So we understand that that release. So tell me, you know, you spoke about being an author and doing music and stuff like that. Tell me about how you got off into music.
So music, I always been into listening to hella music. You know, grandma play oldies while we cleaning up. You know, every time in the car with my dad, he got on something. My mom listened to music on Friday, Saturday nights while she getting ready to go out and getting fly. You know, when the girls y'all used to be in the living room perming each other hair, y'all play y'all's vibe. But then, you know, my sister actually used to rap. My sister wrote my first rap when I was 5. And you know, I remember watching her perform, and I see my dad and his homeboys like freestyling and stuff. And so it's always the ambition that I had, and nothing like other young men like sports and all that. Like, I mean, I'll watch it with you, but I'm like, man, turn on some rap. Let's watch some videos or something. Like, I want to see how this artist, so it's just always kind of been in me. And then once I got old enough that I could kind of more pursue it and make it my own thing and put out my own stuff, my own narratives, and tell my story or the story of my family or my homeboys. And it's like, it just pushed me. But probably, I'm going to say the first real session I went to, I was probably either 15 or 16. And I had tried, let me see, I had went to, I bought a session for my homeboy's dad, me and Debo. We bought a session for my homeboy's dad, but that wasn't really like, everything was a lesson. Not to speak negatively on nobody, but that was like one of them sessions that he spent half the time looking for CDs, then the other half time rushing you to do your stuff. And then it's like, I don't know, I didn't really get to do my thing. And then my homeboy, Gil Gates, they was going to the Salvation Army used to have what's called the Intel Computer Clubhouse, which Intel put some money into the hood for young, troubled black boys like me. And then it was all kind of stuff with computers, like web design. They had 3D design. But then they had music, though. That's what brought everybody in. So it wasn't just me. It was people that was there before me, too. But that's where I kind of like, okay, I don't have to pay to be here. And I get time to, like, get it right, figure it out. And I don't got nobody rushing me. And I'm just getting better and better. And then probably, though, really, though, when I probably got tight was probably though when I moved to the A and I got to be around different people with different styles. And out there, everybody was on it. And it's really like, it's kind of a whole different mind state than we got out here. But it's like everybody was on it, so it just kind of pushed me more to like, okay, you got to come like this, you got to be a certain way, and that kind of pushed me for my individuality because I don't know. I say this all the time. Now to tell you, like, I hate when I hear stuff that's everything that sounds alike. Like, I think that Drake is tight, but I don't want to hear the million people that sound like Drake. I think Kendrick is tight. I don't want to hear the million people that's trying to sound like Kendrick. Mozzie is tight. I don't want to hear the million people that sound like Mozzie. I just want to hear that person. And so being out there, because you get a lot of that, a lot of people just kind of trying to go with the flow and do what they do. Then like you come back home, some people back home will change their style to whatever's popular. But by the time you do that, though, that style might be 6 months gone. You know what I'm saying? Because we, Portland is not like a Hollywood city. So by the time we catch on to something, it's probably already out the door. So you trying to copy what's on TV, and they already on something else out there in Atlanta and LA and New York and Houston. But like, that's where I kind of developed my style. And, that's when I was having my own equipment and just like having the time to kind of like at the style. But now I had a better understanding of the quality of music and just like honing in on it. But like since then, no, I just been kind of like just trying to figure out like, okay, how I'm going to drop, when I'm going to drop. And then I'm like my biggest critic though. So I kind of like, my biggest problem is sometimes I hold back and I don't drop it when I should just be just putting it all out. Cause everybody else is new, it's fresh, so, but that's kind of like, it's an ongoing saga though. Like it ain't over. Like I'm still pushing, but that's kind of though, like where I started though, like from the ground up, and then each level just got better and better and better. But it's different things that I'm working at now. So at this point, like, I don't know if I don't want like a record deal or nothing. I just want my stuff out there and to be respected. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we gonna eat either way. Cuddy gonna tell you we gonna go to the casino either way, with or without the deal. I just wanted to be out there and people to vibe to it. And like to me, also my sons, they'll ask me about diaries, and I'm like, the only time I really wrote in a diary is after my dad passed. So I wrote in a diary for like maybe like a month. And then I still got it. My mom had it, and somehow my sons end up with it, and they be reading it. But I never really wrote after that. But I'm like, no, but like my music is like my diary. Like that's how I kind of get my thoughts, emotions, and feelings out, because once I shut my door and I turn that on, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna put out how I feel at that time. However somebody else feel about it, it don't matter. That's how I feel. And then that's what I need people to know. 100 years later, when they like, oh, what was up with Theodore? Press this track right here. This is how he felt on March 2nd, 2025, right here, so. But yeah, that's how, I do that. But
I understand that. Like everything you just said, like that's how I feel with poetry. Like it's like, and it's easier to do, right, than just sitting there talking about it, writing it down or whatever, and then being like, okay, I expressed it, I can share it. Y'all, at this point, it don't matter if anybody else likes it as long as I'm cool with it.
Exactly.
And I think that's how people make better art. Instead of being like, oh, I hope they like this. Nah, I like this. Here y'all go. Because that's how you started in the first place. That's how they started liking you in the first place. Because you put out something that you liked and then they liked it. Not you put out something they liked and then you liked it. Like, that's not how that works. But so that's dope. Speaking of writing, how did you transition into being an author? Or do you feel like you were on that wave first?
Kind of well, when I was young, I didn't know that I had wanted to be an author, but I was like, dating back to pre-K, I was like one of the first kids in my class that could read. I always was good at reading, and then people always loved like when I told a story to them. Like we could tell the same story. This is why, we could tell the same story, but they love how I tell it though. You know what I'm saying? I'm around a bunch of animated characters all day. So when I got older, through school, I was always writing stuff, and then my stuff would really get like, it'd get some high scores, like high in the state scores on all my writing assessments. All my middle school and high school teachers will confirm this with you. And so it got to a point that I was in the reading. I remember I think I was in like 7th grade, and I'm at the library. Me and our cousin Lauren, we went to the library, and I knew I could read, but I'm like, a lot of books just didn't catch me like that. Like I just wasn't interested. Like, okay, I can read this very well, but I just don't like the story. It's not holding me. And I remember I seen this book, and it was a dude. He was looking back. He had on a mink and a top hat, and it said "Daddy Cool." I thought that it was a book about a pimp, but Daddy Cool was actually a hitman.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this was the first, this is how I got turned on to Donald Goines.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first Donald Goines book that I have read. And I always mention him and give him his props. He passed before I came along. He probably never knew I existed, but I used to always hear rappers rap about him, but then once I read it, to me it's like the same way. It's the same stuff that we hearing people rap about in our music, in the more hardcore stuff, or like in like an action film, the same stuff. But that's the stuff though he's writing about. But it's from like the 60s and 70s. But it was, to me, it was just a whole new like world to where I remember I would have to stop myself from reading so I don't finish the book too fast, because I'm gonna not have nothing to read.
Them like the best books.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and all his books I bought like 2 or 3 times over, and then I read them again. And reading his books through middle school and high school, that's probably what gave me my first aspiration to be a writer, because I'm like, man, I want to write something like that. Well, what I was going through at the time here in Portland in the streets, and I wanted to convey that. Like, man, I wish I could make people see Portland the way that Donald Goines helps me see Detroit in the 60s and 70s. And the way that I see it out of my lens, the characters that I know, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't really really put anything into pursuing the author side though until I had already graduated college. My first novel, Nutty, that was a film script. That was my first film script. Well, it wasn't my first film script that I finished, but that was my baby. So Nutty as a script, because I'm also into horror, but I'm into like gangster films, but then like I'm hella into like Portland culture. So I wanted to do like a horror story about like Black gangsters here in Portland, and put that out. And so I had the script since maybe between 2008, 2009. I had been working on it, but I graduated college December of 2010. And then I was trying to pitch it for a second, but it was 2 problems with me trying to pitch my script. Number one, I'm in Portland, Oregon. So if you pitching scripts, you probably want to be in like Los Angeles or New York, maybe even Atlanta, places where people was looking to buy scripts. Like, yes, we do have a film industry here, but it's kind of like people who have the funding to do their films and they put their people on. And, that's how it go. Ain't nobody really putting money in nobody else's script like that, at least not to my experience. And especially not the type of story that I'm trying to tell, because the majority of stuff that y'all see out there about Portland, that's not the Portland that I know. That's not the Portland that I'm talking about in my stuff. So they probably don't even really even know where to begin with that. But I had, like I said, I was back here and I had the script, but it was kind of like, I'd tell people about it and then they'd be like, okay, that's cool. Well, and not really know what to do, which I don't know what I want them to do with it, because, like, what you gonna do with my script? And so I was working a job. I really wasn't, at one point I had realized like, it don't matter how educated I am, this ain't going nowhere. And so for like the last 2 years of the job, I was so frustrated and so uncomfortable. I'm like, man, I'm gonna just create my own opportunity. And so I took I had started back reading my Donald Goines books. And so I'm reading those plus a couple textbooks about screenwriting and stuff. And then I just started slowly just taking my script, transforming it to a book. But then also, like, I'm adding parts in. So at the time, I only had 2 sons. There was a baby in one. And so I wake up on my days off 4 or 5 in the morning, get them their little bottles, go to my office, and then I'm just in there probably till about 9 o'clock when they wake back up. I'm just in there brainstorming, writing down ideas. And like I said, the way that my mind works, my imagination is vast. So I just be in there writing, thinking up scenarios. Some of it is stuff I seen or heard, and then some of it is like, oh, what if this happened? But just kind of just trying to piece together the story. So like I said, that was about 2015 when my second son was born when I started writing it. I didn't finish writing that until like 2017. I had ended up leaving that job. My best friend out in Texas passed, and it was kind of like, it was a different kind of blow to me because I think at the time I had accepted, like, okay, you just gonna work and take care of these kids. He was out there doing his thing, performing, and out there doing it up. So I'm like, well, at least bro gon', you know what I'm saying? One of us gonna ball. And then he was only 29, he ended up passing. And then that fucked me up to a point of like, hold on, nah, they can't. You know what I'm saying? One of us gotta, not to say he didn't do nothing, because he did a lot out there in Texas, but it was still just like, nah, I just wasn't content. Like, nah, we gotta go further.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, like I said, I had already started writing the book, and then I missed like a week of work, and I just went in there and told her, like, my supervisor that is, I was like, hey, I got, I looked at my 401k, it was sitting nice, about 5 figures up in here. I'm like, hey, I gotta go. Like, this ain't gonna work no more. And then after that is when I was damn near done, but all the stuff I needed. So that was June. And then I think I started sending my stuff up in September or October. And then it first came, I got my first copy in like November. But then I think it was December though when it was out there. And then like I got Barnes and Nobles to pick them up. And I got a bunch of people around the city bought it. My cousin bought it. Shout out to Dion, rest in peace. Dion bought it. We worked at that same job together. You know what I'm saying? But a bunch of people though that came and went, a bunch of homeboy people that don't look like me. That's what I always tell people though, man, when you being an entrepreneur, I think as young Black people, sometimes we get caught up in like, we want to be popular and want the social group to rock with you. But what I started putting my energy into is like, if you're rocking with me, I'm rocking with you. So once I figured that out, then my sales went up a whole lot, because it's like, don't just shut somebody down just because they different, because I'm gonna be authentically me. And a lot of people was like, oh no, I want to see about that, or just because they like having a conversation with you, they might shop with you and they'll come back. But a lot of people from the community though as well, like a lot of brothers who don't necessarily read, I'm talking about felons, and they was getting my book and like, man, I appreciate what you're doing. I like what you're doing. This is something that I like reading about. And they're looking at it like, a lot of these guys know me and they know where I came from, and they like, man, you know what I'm saying? If don't nobody give you that pat on the back, man, I'm proud of you, and so just something to keep going. But that was the start of I was kind of freestyling the whole like book thing when I was doing it. But the way that I did it though, I know at the time, and this ain't a knock on nobody, but I know I don't think at the time nobody was really like selling more books than me. It might have been some people with like more resources to put it in more places, but as far as like people saying, hey, I got that book, to where now if I have my book somewhere and somebody be like, hey, my uncle got that, or I read that, and you know what I'm saying? So it was a major leap though, but it definitely, like, every time I go by a Barnes and Noble that has it though, I always stop in, because that's to me, that's still surreal.
Mhm.
And I try to, keep my composure and act cool. But every time I see it, though, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yep, keep going. And it make my kids excited. They tell their friends, oh, my dad's an author. And then for them to actually see it on the shelf versus like, I sold a lot from my trunk too, but to see it
And
on the
there's
shelf
proof.
though, yeah, next to, right next to Donald Goines, right next to Stephen King, you know what I'm saying? That's big, So
Yeah. He did I don't know if it started out on purpose or not, but he did a whole like it was like a photo campaign. I bought the book. So like it would be like once a week or something like that. He dropped like all these pictures of everybody who bought the book.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a thing. Like even if I got it, but I didn't get it directly from you or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Still take a picture,
right?
Send it over. So then you one of the people that it was dope.
Yeah, because people, man, what I realize is people respect stuff. A lot of people are so not to knock nobody, but some people are like bandwagon people too. So like, you feel me? Somebody might not, say you drop something, they might be like, oh, I don't know, but then they see Nada posting it, they're like, oh, Nada got it. I look up to Nada. Let me go and see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I didn't do it on purpose at first. But then once I started seeing like
the impact,
man, it's a lot of books. But then I was in a couple book groups too that was like not necessarily people from here. And the discussions in these groups, because I was trying to get them to post me. These are like authors from like New York and Georgia. And I'm trying to get them to post me, but they wouldn't post me. I would only post myself. And so in that group, I started posting to the group story. So you can see the whole group. See, it's 1,000 people in the group, 400 views, but they're seeing like, no, I'm not just posting pictures of me holding my book. I'm posting pictures of customers holding the book. So it's not like, oh, I'm just talking like, and but yeah, after a while though, then I'm like, okay, this is what people want to see is who all got the book. Some people want to see somebody that they know, but like I said, people just respect it though once they see, oh, somebody's, whether I rock or not, like whether if we decide not to eat at McDonald's or not, we still got to respect them because they still gonna sell out every day. You know what I'm saying? And then that's kind of like where I was getting with that once I seen it's like, oh, it's no slowing this down, but
you gotta talk directly into
oh, my bad.
I ain't paid no attention to
And then too, like you can sit here and be like, oh, I sold 25 books or I sold 2,500 books, and it's a number and people are like, okay. But if you see 25 people or you see 2,500 people, like, and you could tell this is not photoshopped, like, you know what I'm saying? That visual impact makes people be like, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? Just like that cup everybody was killing each other for at that one store. I was like, it's just I got a cup just as good as that at home.
The Stanley?
Yeah. I'm like, y'all going crazy over this because other people are going crazy over it.
They keep the ice froze for like 3 days.
Okay.
It do.
But yeah, so yeah, it was like an amazing accidental marketing thing for you. That's dope.
I agree.
So how many books do you have now?
The published, I got 2 published. I got Lucky. Well, I got Nutty, which is the first one that did more. And then I released Lucky in 2022, I believe. And that one didn't do as many numbers, but it was also different circumstances and how I was campaigning it. But Lucky is kind of like a prequel to Nutty. So just to kind of give you a rundown, Nutty is about a character named Latrez who's he's from the streets here in Portland, trying to turn his life around. However, as he's doing that, people close to him, his brother and his nephews, they're still doing stuff that's keeping him close to the street. And his loyalty to them, even though he's not trying to do what they're doing, his loyalty to them is keeping him close in the way that's putting him at risk of putting his freedom and his family back on the line. And it kind of follows him and his nephews and things that they go through out here in the streets and getting tied up in the gang war and things like that. And then the book Lucky is about his nephew's cousin on their dad's side. So in Nutty, it doesn't really tell you why the dad's not in their life. And Lucky, like I said, it's about their cousin, but their cousin's big cousin. So in Portland, we say, my big cuddy. Everybody got a big cuddy that took them under their wing.
Mhm.
Sometimes we might got a big cuddy or an uncle that took us under their wing, who they're not involved in their kid's life.
Mhm.
And so this is kind of a book about that, but it's also following Lucky through his ups and downs growing up here in Portland, and his upbringing is different than the characters in Nutty, where they had a bunch of family to fall on. He barely knew any family, and then he's just coming up trying to figure things out himself. It just had to grow up fast in the streets. And Lucky is I'm a gambler. It's he's a gambler, he's a hustler. And like most of us, he has a lot of good luck and a lot of bad luck. So we all know people like that, like the best thing in the world that happened, but also the worst thing in the world. Like, won the new exclusive J's, but now your foot got cut off. Like that type of stuff. But yeah, I have 2 out now, and I'm working on getting some more. But I'm just taking my time because I don't want to rush it. When I drop it, I want it to be all the way right.
Mhm. That's what's up. That's inspiring. I know for a long time I've thought about writing a book, but you never hear. I mean, you hear about people who write a book, but there's not a lot of information, or at least people in the community sharing that information. Like, how do you do it? What's the best way to go about it? And so it's always interesting to hear.
Yeah, well, I always tell people, start with what you got, right? And so like what I mean by that is like, so say you want to write your book, right? So whatever your story is, start with that. And with me, like I had, like my homegirl had wrote a book in Georgia. And it got it published and everything. But hers didn't get to the stores or like mine's did, or make as many sales as mine did. I believe my sister also wrote a book before me, but hers also kind of same thing, didn't go to the stores or anything like that. And so the best thing to do, find a printer, or they might call it self-publishers, but it's a bunch of them though. I think you can do it through Amazon. I like Lulu Press. They do one. It's a few others. My weed smoking is messing up my short-term memory. But it's places though that you can go to, and it's pretty much like you write up your book, you get your book together, you get your artwork together. And then once it's ready, the main thing I'm paying people to do is print the book.
Right.
Like I'm writing it, designing it myself. I pay them to print it. Now, once it's printed though, then it's kind of on you on how to, like, with me getting in place, like I'm literally, my cousin to tell you, I have 0 employees. Like I'm literally by myself going into these places, talking to people like, hey, can I get my book in here? Or it might be talking to people like, hey, would you like to read my book? Or, my name is, I said since 2018, I've been introducing myself by my first name, Theodore, a lot more, because I'm like, hey, I have this book, and, just talking to people. But like the main thing though is just getting it done. Once you get it done, find you somebody that'll press it up. Most people, it's usually a small fee. I mean, if you going for getting the book deal, that's fine too. But in the meantime, it's good though. Just get it pressed up, and then the rest is just kind of about your rollout. Like my first one did better, but I didn't have a book release. My second one, I had a book release, but it still didn't do as good as the first one. You know what I'm saying? But I think the first one, it was more of like it was kind of more organic. Like I wasn't trying. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bunch of different ways you could do, but just like with anything else, or I'll say hyping it up. You gotta hype up whatever you do. But just, the main thing though is just getting started. But anything though that you gotta ask though, like I don't mind telling you like what I did or what I would do in that situation, because it's not that hard. And I don't know, the way I think is like, if somebody else succeeds at something, it doesn't dim my light, especially if they like, well, hey, I tapped in with Theodore and I end up selling more books than him. Like, to me, that's not a bad thing. To me, that's like, hey, well, you took it a step further than me, you know, and that's to me, that's what it's about because I'm only as big as my greatest teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like because they gave me the knowledge to keep going. So, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have a book I've been putting out for like 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done. Like really my next step would be that doing the self-publishing thing, and I don't know. I just feel like I put a lot of money into it, artwork, time, whatever, and I don't know. You know, like, and you sit on music too long and you just like, I don't feel like I should release that now. It doesn't apply the same anymore, or I'm not feeling it the same or whatever, but I still want to put it out, but now it's not the first one I want to put out.
I feel you on that. It will, and then you got to remember too, though, like with literature, the difference between literature and music, like we'll read a book from 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years ago, and it's just about if it apply right now.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a book that came out today that none of us might not touch for another 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, but I feel you, though, if you're trying to do something, like that's with me with the music I'm sitting on right now. I got about 3-4 projects on my computer, but now it's like, oh, now that I make this, I can't drop this without dropping this, and I can't, you know, but I don't know. I think sometimes we just got to kind of buckle down, and you, like with me, I like to make checklists and be like, okay, what all do you need to put this out? Once everything is checked, and it's like, okay, now what you waiting on?
Right, no excuses.
And, you know, because I'm like that too, though. Like, oh, I don't know. And I was asking myself, well, why not? Well, you got the money to do it, put it out, and then just see what happened. You know, but I think you should do it though. But I mean, yeah, take your time. Make sure it's on your terms, because you don't want to. Sometimes timing could be wrong in a sense that, like, my second book, when I put it out, my timing was wrong because I didn't have a plan set up of how I was going to push it. Like, I put it out, I had the rollout, I had the book release, but then I went back to work. You know what I'm saying? The next day, and then I all my time is going to work and kids sports. And so it's like I was really hoping that my original customers would have been repeat customers, and like, man, if I can just get all them to buy it on the first day, but it don't always happen like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, it's good though to take your time to understand, like, and what a lot of people do is try to get people to pre-order it. So, you know, maybe think about that. If you already got it done, maybe give them a little bit, like a little piece, and then see if you can just get people to pre-order it. You know, if your book is 20, like, say, hey, put 5 down to reserve your copy. And then, you know, before you even drop them, like, well, I already got X amount sold. And then that's how a lot of people also get on the bestsellers list, because it looks like they've been selling it all in one day, but they might have been selling this book for a year. But now that it's released, the sales don't count until release day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just something to think about. Something I need to work on too, though.
Yeah.
It reminds me of art. My dad was an artist, and he has paintings that he started working on when I was born. And he's got paintings that he's worked on for over 20 years that, you know, he passed away, I think, before he really finished his last painting. But so now it is what it is. But I think a lot about publishing some of his stuff, because as an artist, he's a dope artist, but all of his stuff is just in our house.
You do it.
You know? And it's like, it's some stuff you don't see anywhere. And it's like, maybe, you know, it has inspired me to do more art myself, but also, you know, incorporate some of his stuff and make it do something, because I know that's something he always wanted to do. So it's just inspiring to hear, you know, people turn their art into something meaningful.
Yeah,
you should
do it.
Yeah, I might. We'll see.
I think that'd be dope. You do a whole exhibit of your dad's art.
I'll love to see that. And then I feel like, I know it's that saying about, like, when people pass and, you know, we don't give people they flowers, but I feel like it's always something about, like, if somebody not here no more, and they release some art or whatever it was, and it's kind of like they speaking to you from the grave or from the heavens or whatever it is that you believe in, and they kind of give you a different insight because they like I could tell you all day like, oh yeah, my dad said this, my dad said that, but if you got something that he actually did, then you're like, oh no, he said it just like this,
Right?
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know. I think you should do it. I think you should do it. Like,
yeah, I'm trying to learn how to publish it first before I do it, because that's a big one. It's just making sure it's copyrighted and it's protected so that people can't do something else with it. But I have a friend who's been publishing her art, and I've been just asking questions like, how do you do it? What did you do? Where do you start? You know,
yeah, how different is it than publishing, you know, music or
she said it's pretty easy.
Okay,
at least to get it started, and then once after it's done, then you can make copies and sell stuff. So
that's dope.
Yeah. I know I did a Black History Month thing with the Urban League and Tiger, and these ladies came up to me and was like, do you have that? Well, first, it was like a few ladies at a they all came up one at a time, but they were like, do you have that published somewhere? I would love to give that to my son. And I'm like, you know, since I wrote this, I've been planning to have it available in like, you know, March, April to be like a Father's Day type thing, like time frame or whatever. And I just keep not doing it. And I keep like, and when time passes, and I'm like, okay, now it's March. Is it too late to get that process started to have that ready, you know, to where people could be getting that in June? And I was like, okay, as I get through this, what I'm going through now, I need to work on that because it might be too late this year if like the push don't go right, but it won't be too late next year. And I keep thinking about all the people who keep asking me that. And I'm like, it could have been done. That's money you missing. That's marketing you missing. That's like a whole thing. And I'm like, I gotta just still own that just do it thing. Like, because otherwise it's not going to happen, because you sit there and you contemplate and you, oh, it could be better, or the design this and the design that. I'm like, the first time you feel like it's good, like just put it out there. Or at least for me, because I'm, again, sitting on this for years, 4 years.
Think of it like this though, right? Let's say that you hungry, right? And then a stranger walk by and give you a burger. It ain't the best burger, but I'm not saying that your product ain't the best.
No, I understand.
But look though, but you hungry though, right?
Right.
So whether that to you at that moment, that's steak. You know what I'm saying? Because you wasn't expecting nobody to come drop you a burger anyway.
Right.
And so, you know what I'm saying, you dropping, but see, it might not even be a burger. You probably got the steak cooked perfectly. You just don't know how you want to season it. You know what I'm saying? So what they don't care how you season it, because you know what I'm saying, you already cooked it to perfection. So, you know, but I don't know if I feel like if they when you do stuff that ain't the typical thing that everybody does, like if you doing art and poetry, like I do music too, but I understand a bunch of people do music, so you got to be real particular. But then when you do stuff that other people's not doing, like people ain't even doing nothing to even give you it's probably gonna be a bunch of people that pop up trying to do it once they see, oh, she did it, well, I could do it. But you, if anything, be leading the wave. You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me. So with that, you know, I don't see how you could lose. You know.
Yeah.
I think people they gonna give it a chance either way. So
I appreciate that. Like that was like this conversation's kind of been like that push that I need to be like, okay, like it don't make sense to be sitting on product. These big chains, they don't like, oh, their shelves is bare and they gonna leave the stuff sitting in the back because they not ready to stock the shelves. You know what I'm saying? Stock these shelves. Get that out there.
Yeah, they just put it on discount when the season changed.
Right. So where all is your book? You said it's at Barnes & Noble?
You can get it at Barnes & Noble. You can get it from Amazon. Pretty much anywhere online. It's a bunch of places. But then you can still get it from me directly. But Barnes & Noble and Amazon's the main two places. But like eBay books, You can get it from. They don't have any more on the shelf in Pals, so I got to give them some more. But you can still get it from their website though. So and that's Theodore McCauley. Where the camera at? Theodore McCauley. My first book is called Lucky. The second book is called Nutty. If you can't find it under Theodore McCauley, do the initials TM McCauley. But if you go to Lloyd Center, Clackamas Town Center, and Tannersbourne Malls, all three of those locations have my books on the shelf right now. But you can also go to the public library. I always encourage people like, hey, you ain't sure if it's your deal? Go to the library, rent it out for free. A bunch of I think I'm in like a dozen libraries in Multnomah County. So
that's dope.
Yeah, name one. I got a book in there. And if I don't, they'll order it from you or wherever you live. If it's not Multnomah County, they can order it. But yeah, and I encourage people like what I used to do before I bought a book is I'd sit in Barnes and Noble and I read a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? And then before I spend this $15, $20 on this book, let me make sure it's even my speed.
Right.
You know, so I always encourage people that because it ain't about me, like I was saying about the music. I want people to like actually get it more than just pay for it. Like, because I feel like the money will come. Like, but yeah, back to your question though, the library, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, if you type it in Google, a bunch of places you can get it. Or if you know how to get in touch with me, you could always DM me and I get you one that's signed. You know, if you whenever I do my Lucky books, because he's a gambler, I got these little custom chips, casino chips with Lucky on them, and I give people a chip if you buy a Lucky book from me directly. So, you know, a little incentive, but either way, however you get it, though, it's all love. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
What are your and your music can be found?
My music is under Ted Loke, TEDD under all major platforms. I got a bunch of stuff. I got some new stuff I'm about to be dropping this spring. I've been changing up my title so much, but just know though I do have some music about to drop, but I don't know what I'm titling it yet because I keep switching that up. But like, I already got a bunch of stuff out there. So that's Ted Loke on all major platforms: YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, Apple, you name it, it's up there. So,
all right. I thought she was asking, like, are we close to an hour? I can't see.
We got a little bit of time.
Okay.
I was thinking about our topic and I was like, have we really talked on it?
Spoke on it.
Unexpected things and happiness, redefining happiness, kind of. Which for me, that's been I think a major focus. I think I talk about it all the time. I don't know if I necessarily talk about it on here, but just, you know, in my posts and just life is finding happiness in unhappy times and kind of identifying the blessings, even when it feels like sometimes they can be difficult to find. So yeah, what should we share on that?
Like, well, as far as me, like recently, you know, I talked about my brother passed or whatever, and even though like this is a very shitty time for me, I've decided, because Gia said this, but he also said it to me too, when he'd be like, try this or try that. If y'all don't know, my brother was very, very good chef. And I don't like a lot of stuff, and I'm allergic to a lot of other stuff. So he would be like, you have toddler taste buds and you need to grow up.
Toddler taste buds.
Yeah. I'm like, hey man, like, I can't eat that. That'll kill me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, just take, you know, he'd be like, just come eat it with me. I'll poke you with the EpiPen.
Okay then. Don't worry about the scratching in your throat.
Right. So I'm not gonna go that far. But you know, I've decided what I am gonna do is just like live a little more adventurously like he did. You know, just try in that area. Not like I'm not about to start doing crazy stuff, but you know, just
Get you a
trying
bucket
to
of shrimp.
Absolutely not. But just try and open up my palate, because a lot of stuff I'll look at it and I'll be like, I already know that don't taste good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to be a little more open-minded. It's starting there, but I'm thinking that's probably going to be my, every year I do on my birthday, I do my resolutions. I don't do the January 1st thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might be my thing for 43. It doesn't have to start right at 43, but I have to make sure I'm very intentional in when I turn 43 to be like
really trying new things.
Yeah. So it just to be more not just to open my palate, but it's going to start there, but just to be more open-minded about anything that I'm super judgy about or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know anything about at the time or whatever. So I think that's what I'm trying to pull away from that, is that essence of him. I'm trying to use that to, keep
expand.
it.
Yeah.
And
expand,
not make it
grow
suck
a little
so
bit.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. I know we tried a new restaurant this week. We had lunch at this place. I don't remember the name. I don't care about the name because it's not worth
It doesn't
mentioning.
even matter.
Yeah, but it was like, we never been here before. This is new. Let's go eat lunch there.
Mhm.
And it's a newer restaurant, and I think from online it was like, oh, we go sit down and eat.
Mhm.
And then we walk in and it's like, oh, this doesn't seem like a welcoming environment for you to sit down and eat at. It's like, come order your food and leave.
Right.
Is what the display is like. And it's like, okay, but I didn't come here to take my food, and I'm not about to eat in the car. I want to sit down and eat my food. And so we sat down and we ate our food.
Super
They had these 3 futons and a coffee table in the middle. But futons are so low to the ground. They could just be uncomfortable sometimes. But you could tell that it was really just a spot for you to sit down and wait. Or they had these really high chairs up against the wall. It was the only 2 options on how you could sit down.
No kind of real support. Like,
yeah, I couldn't lean back in the futon. I felt like I was laying down. It was like, I want to sit like normal, just, like this. I want to just sit down and eat. And so just being there, like, it wasn't something to complain about, but it was just like, yeah, no, this is not it for me. And realizing that, okay, I mean, it's good to try new things. I wouldn't have known otherwise. The food was not bad. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, I feel you.
It was edible.
The service was not good either.
You ever hear an old person and they talk about something that's nasty, and somebody be like, it wasn't that bad, and then they be like, it wasn't that good.
Exactly. That's kind of how it was. It was like, it was edible.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If you hungry.
Yeah. I wouldn't order it again. I was like, I had a calzone, and I'd be forgetting all the things that Renata is can't eat. So I thought I picked something that she could eat, and she was like, no, it has this in it. I was like, dang it, I messed up again. And she's like, that's okay.
Listen, okay.
She said, I don't expect you to remember all my things. And I'm like, but still, I try to be considerate.
You gotta give her seasoned ice.
Wow. Wow. I'm really starting to feel like this is everybody pick on Renata week, because between you and Ari, my kids, my friends, I'm like, it's really been at the mic, they jump me. Like, y'all jumping me now. Like, it's really wild. Everybody, okay.
But anyway, I felt like a failure, because I was like, dang it, I didn't pick the failure. Right thing. I just did, because I was trying not to do that, and
it's okay. I had mozzarella sticks and wings.
Still. Well, anyways.
What was the question again? No, I know that y'all started talking about trying new stuff, but what was the question though?
The finding happiness or something
in
like that.
Unexpected situations
or unhappy times.
In unhappy times.
So I feel like life is filled with unexpected situations. It seemed like what I picked up from the room, all of us have lost a parent. Am I correct?
Yep.
I don't have any anymore. Neither does she.
Huh?
So either one of us don't have any anymore.
Oh, y'all lost. Oh, that your father did pass recently, huh? And you lost. Okay, so thank God I still have my mother. But like I lost my dad when I was like 11, and so for an 11-year-old boy, especially like how I was with my dad, you thinking like, oh, this motherfucker ain't gonna never die. This Superman.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And so like that right there was probably the catalyst moment of my life. That was like, okay. That was, to me, that was end of my innocence, end of my childhood. Like, it's no longer innocent. Like, people die. Like, it's not innocent. But all through life, though, just like I mentioned, my best friend passed and a bunch of other people passing, like, that type of stuff happened. Or it might not be nobody passing. It could be anything, like, shit, you know, we all done been there. Everybody done lost a job. Everybody done had a month where they couldn't make rent or something. It's always somebody getting sick. Something always is going on that's unexpected. And, you know, we usually having a hard time about something, or if we ain't having a hard time, somebody close to us might be having a hard time. And it'd be harder for us to, everything going right for me. But if something wrong with my cousin, but I can't help, but it's like, damn, do I deserve, you know, you get that survivor's guilt. But I think though, you do gotta find, like, you do have to find your own inner peace and happiness in whatever you do. Cause once you got that, like, I always tell people, like, I can't tell you how to feel. So whether you happy, upset, whatever, however it is you feeling, you own that. That's yours to have. So, but at the same time, though, you know, we can't let sometimes, and I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes we'll let another individual or a situation fuck up our whole day, our whole week, our whole mood. Man, hey, this a true story. This is a true story, right? I'm driving down Halsey, and a car is driving like in a way that I don't like. And I'm bad with, I come from a long line of road ragers, right? And so I'm rolling down my window. I'm about to go off. My son's is like, oh, Dad, because they already know. Dad, come on, bro, don't do it. I'm like, nah, I gotta say something to this motherfucker. Tell me why it ended up being my pastor.
Okay, then.
but look though, right? But I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna just let Pastor go ahead, right? I don't even know if he see me or not. I'm gonna act like nothing. We get to church though. My son, the pastor after church, always say, don't you dare leave without shaking the pastor's hand. So I'm just about to, hey, Pastor, good to see you, brother. Yeah, I'll be back next week. Tell me why my son, Dad, you got to tell Pastor that we seen him. And so he like, Pastor, like, what you talking about? So I got to tell him, like, Pastor, you know the Lord working on me, man. I almost cussed you out the other day. I didn't know it was you, but once I did. But at the same time, though, to me, that was like a reminder, though, like, you like, if I would have caught somebody else cussing out my pastor in traffic, then it would, you know, so it was like, nah, you don't do that. And so
that's a crazy sentence.
Huh?
Sorry. That's a crazy sentence, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's that's what I'm saying. Though. But see,
right.
we gotta, I know with me, sometimes it's just like not letting people get up under our skin about stuff, or not letting situations where if something's going wrong, like everybody's on the mission. Everybody got a program that they got to run. Whether it's good, bad, ugly, in between, you got to keep pushing your stuff. Like, and you ain't gonna always be happy. Like every day, you're not gonna be happy. Like at my job, some people kind of wear their emotions on you could tell. And they, oh, Theodore, why you always so happy? I'm like, I ain't always happy. You know what I'm saying? Well, you just always seem like, no, because I don't have to bring what I'm going through to you. That ain't none of your business. Like, why am I going to bring that to you? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm going to come in here with a smile and woo whoop. But, you know, on my break, I put in my headphones and I take my walk and I deal with my emotions on my time. And I think that once people realize that, you know, and then we wouldn't feel as bad about, like, I always feel guilty whenever I do something for myself. Whether I buy myself something, whether I take a trip somewhere, I always feel guilty. But I know that when I don't do it and I feel like I'm going crazy, or, you know what I'm saying, then it's like, man, I'm fucking killing myself right now. So, you know, we got to unapologetically be selfish sometimes. And that goes for everybody. Like, it don't matter how somebody feel about what you want to do or what you need to do for yourself. You have to do that. I know we got kids and stuff, and we got to do what we got to do for our kids. But even with that being said, like, yeah, put the babies first. But don't forget to take no time out for you. You know what I'm saying? Because all these hours people work and all the stuff that we do, like to just, to me, I feel like to just work your whole life and always be a service to somebody else, but never do nothing for yourself.
Yes.
Like, to me, and then you just die. Like, to me, that's just like, damn, like, that was life. Like, I would have rather, I'm going to feel jealous of the person. Some people is too selfish where, we all know them people that don't do nothing for nobody and they just all to themselves. But then sometimes I'll be a little jealous and people like, man, how can you just do it like that? But but they, they don't care, But I ain't saying be too selfish, like still be a good person. But I think we just all got to make time for ourselves. Yes, focus on your wellness. If it's something that you need for you, something that you want to do, like I'm at the point in life where it's like, if it's something that I want, I'm just going for it, because I know what it's like to wait. And I know how easy a month turn into a year, can turn into a decade easily. You know what I'm saying? And so now it's like, man, well, if I want to do something, I better just do it right now because clearly people are passing every day. I think my dad was 34 when he passed. Well, how was your mom when she passed?
41.
41. Your brother was what?
41.
41. You feel me? I got a gang of homeboys that passed at a young age. My partner in Texas was only 29. The point that I'm trying to make is not to dwell on death, but one thing my dad used to always say is tomorrow ain't promised. So with that being said, it might not be nothing wrong with you. Angie Stone just got into a car wreck yesterday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it might not, we don't know what's going to happen. We could step on the crack and break our back. So you might, or something might change. Something in the world might change to where we might not be able to do something a certain way no more.
Right.
So I figure, hey, if it's something that you want to do or something that you need to do for yourself, just do it and don't let nobody like bring you down. And yeah, like y'all said, try new stuff. Like I'm all about that. Like if I could do something different that I haven't done before, I'm with that because I already know what's gonna happen if I sit around here all year. Same thing that happened last year.
Right.
And the same thing that happened the year before that.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I'm gonna try some different food. I'm gonna go see a different sport. I'm gonna go to a different store. You got to, man. Try a different cologne. All of that, But I don't know. That's my take on it. So
that's kind of what we've been on, like heavily in a kind of like an all gas no brakes kind of way. Since we like really clicked up, I keep hitting. I'm sorry. Since we really like clicked up, it's been like let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, and it's like okay, let's do it. Last year, not last year, but the year before last, or before like we really started doing stuff. It was so scary, the idea of like doing this, but it's like, okay, no, let's just do it. And I like seeing other people on that too, because it's like, I feel like it's also confirmation and also witnessing other people recognize, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And it sounds crazy, but everybody who does all the things that entertain you are there because they decided to do what they wanted to do, what they had a calling for, what they had a passion for. And it's weird because it went like, okay, let's do these paint sips. Okay, well, everything that's a thought is now an event or about to be an event. And that's like we were saying last year, like it feel like it's starting to be this year will be the fruits of our labor. And I feel like it's really going that way. And some stuff just kind of fell into my lap recently that might, propel those things. So I'm super excited about that too. That was random, but
that's okay. I was laughing because it sounded like his gym. Like so, we always end the episode with a gym as a takeaway for the audience to say something positive. And so it's that time of the episode anyway, for us to leave our gyms. And I guess kind of along the lines of what you were saying yesterday, I was on that. I woke up with this like. Where I found like it was a purpose to just, I woke up and I wanted to go to the gym, but then I almost laid there like, I also wanted to sleep. And then I was like, no, but I'm going to spend the whole day doing all these things for other people. Going to the gym is for me. It's solely for me. And why do I always feel like I can put that off, but I don't put off the stuff that's for somebody else, the stuff that's for work, the stuff that's benefiting my kids, but the things that I know matter to me are the first things I'm willing to just kind of, that's not as important right now. So I made myself get up. I went to the gym yesterday, and it was like, you know what? I need to remember that every day. I don't know if I need to put a sticky note. I don't know if I need to make that a picture on my phone the first thing to wake up. Like, what am I doing that serves me? And being okay with doing that, because for so long, everybody else's needs have been more important than my own. Or it's, you sacrifice those things for yourself in order to benefit somebody else. And yeah, just in my 40s, feeling like that's no longer the case for me. I'm interested in benefiting Kanitha and whatever that looks like. And everything else will follow. It will benefit everybody else if I focus on myself, and it's okay. So that's kind of my gym of just, it's okay to do what's best for you. It doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't mean you don't care about other people. But if you don't take care of yourself, there's absolutely nobody else who's going to take care of yourself better than you can take care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess my gym is actually going to be along those lines too, because in taking care of yourself, sometimes you have to have people around you, especially when you're somebody who takes care of people. You have to have somebody around you who reminds you that you need to take care of yourself too. Because we talk about that, but also I had a friend yesterday talking about how, you always show up. Like if you want to like stay home, sometimes it's okay to stay home. You don't have to show up and go to everything all the time. And they're like, people, who do you know outside of like our crew that we work together with? Who do you know that shows up to your stuff all the time? Not on no knock or nothing like that, but like, it's okay to not want to go and not be out there. Because, sometimes I'll be getting ready for stuff and I'll be like but I said I'd go. So, and between that person and my daughter, I'm like, well, you signed, no offense to my cousin, but Virgos are some very interesting people in the way that they affirm and support you. And yeah, like there was something I wanted to do, or that I said I wanted to do, past we're not a sign, and future we're not up for shit. And my daughter is like, well, you signed up for this. You said you were gonna go, so you gotta go. And that's always been my mind frame, but also on this journey of like, no, I'm just starting to do more things that Renata wants to do, regardless of whether somebody else feels like that's a good idea or not. I've been on that, but then I kind of been pulling back from that recently. And like I said, she always points it out, but having that friend point it out too, like, you always show up. It's okay to, to not show up, and people will understand because you always show up. And so I think having other people support you through what you said though, right? Because I voiced that I'm, I want to be doing more things for me because I'm always doing things for other people. My whole life, that's who I've been. So when your people see you backsliding on what you said, it's like, hey, remember you said if it was, the energy wasn't really there and you really didn't want to do it, you wasn't gonna go. So I had to be like, you know what, you're right. I did say that. So if you see me there, that means I want to be there. Like the way this is going now, like, but just because you don't see me there, don't mean I didn't want to be there. Sometimes stuff be happening and I'll be forgetting about other stuff and blah, blah, blah. But like, that is what that is.
All right.
I think have that supportive circle around you and your, whatever you're supposed to be standing on. I'm not saying standing on business. I don't like that. I've been saying stand on it or standing on it like my whole life. And I guess I'm being an old ass 80s baby, but I'm going to stick to what I used to say, is just standing on it. But,
I was telling people, stand on what you standing on.
Man.
You got to stand on something. I think people be saying stand on business and they don't even know what that even means. You know what I'm saying? That term came from Ace Boy Pun, who's a podcaster and a producer. And when they were saying stand on business, they was more talking about like if you they was really talking about some violent shit. You know what I'm saying? Like stand on business, but stand on whatever your principle is. Like, like right now, if your principle is your self-care, you gotta stand on that. Like, hey, this is This is not a time. So even if you said, hey, I'm gonna be there, but when the day come, it just ain't cracking like that, you know, then hey, you know, people gotta live with it. Cause you gotta do what you gotta do. And it's gonna be a time, and that might be that moment where you need somebody to come support you, but they can't support you because they got what they got cracking. But you ain't mad because you like do what you need to do. But right now I gotta do what I gotta do right here to make sure I can be straight for even getting through the day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel that 100%.
Is that your gym?
Oh, shit. I was just back doing, man. My gym for today. I guess I'm with y'all, you know, don't wait. My partner that passed used to say, ain't no time like the present. My daddy used to say, tomorrow ain't promised. You know, so I guess my gym is just kind of like, yeah, live in the moment, you know, think ahead, but live in the moment though, because like, fuck next time. Like right now, like let's do it right now. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that thing is that you want to do, that you need to do, just do it right now and put you first. You know what I'm saying? Put you first. And I guess that's my gym. But y'all kind of like, I don't know, I could talk a lot, so I'm gonna shut myself up. But y'all kind of though like summed it up though, what I was thinking too though, just like, you know, self-care, put yourself first. Be kind and generous to others too, though. But don't do it in the way that you're gonna cripple yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're your star player. You can't help me if you can't help yourself. So remember that, you know. But yeah, that's what I got.
What they say on the plane, put your mask on first?
Yep, put your mask on for you assist others. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today on Talk to Them.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me. It was wonderful.
Oh, shoot. Where every voice matters and every story counts, I think.
Where every voice matters and every story counts.
That's true.
There you go.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right.